Welcome to our meeting where we're exploring our movement for compassion in education. And we hope that you, by the end of this meeting, are as excited as we are to be part of this very important movement. By the end of the meeting, we're hoping that you will have a deeper understanding of the importance of developing compassion in education. The Compassionate Schools programme and propositions will be known in more depth, that you'll have a deeper understanding of the role of the CoEd Foundation and the University of Birmingham, and a deeper understanding of your role as part of the project. We're also hoping by the end of this meeting that we will have established a collaboration group for each strand of the propositions. So there are 4 strands in total, and we're hoping that we'll have a group for each of those. And we're also hoping that we'll have a timeline and some ideas about next steps.
Good afternoon, I'm Lara Flint. I am one of the trustees of the CoEd Foundation and also a serving deputy head teacher at a junior school in Birmingham. The CoEd Foundation was established 10 years ago by Maurice Coles, who set up the charity to bring compassion into education. Not only has the CoEd Foundation supported schools with their development of SMSE, but it has also promoted the importance of physical and mental well-being and interfaith and intercultural attitudes. There have been several projects and conferences delivered by the CoEd Foundation, which have been at a local level in Birmingham, where we are based, at a national level, and also at an international level, working with schools in Vienna and in Malaysia. Sadly, in April 2020, Maurice, our chief executive, lost his battle to COVID-19. The trustees and advisors of the charity decided that we would keep the foundation going, not only to honour Maurice's legacy, but also to share with the world the important messages in his final book that he edited, Education for Survival. This book is where the movement has come from, and the propositions are all based upon chapters in this book, and we will talk through the propositions later on. As a charity, we want to best support education providers to grow and nurture compassionate citizens who not only care about themselves and each other, but equally the planet. And we are hoping that our movement of compassion in education is going to do that through sharing work and promoting the importance of compassion. For me, this project and the charity are important on 2 different levels. As a serving deputy head teacher, I am very keen to create a culture of compassion within my school, to support my staff and my pupils with their well-being, and also to enable the pupils in my school to have a voice and to feel like they can make a difference. This is also important on another level because Maurice was my father, and I know that he would be absolutely honoured and thrilled to know that his final publication will have a direct impact on the lives of children today. So I hope you enjoy the rest of the symposium, and I look forward to working with you all. Thank you.
A very moving explanation of the CoEd Foundation from Lara, and I can absolutely say that I met Maurice, her father, a few years ago, and he really did inspire me. I was working at Nelson Mandela School as the head teacher, just recently retired, and I know that my school is and was a compassionate place, but talking to Maurice, it made me think more about compassion in education isn't just about what you're teaching children and about your behaviours. It's about that long-lasting legacy of giving children the skills and the desire to really care about their world and about each other, but in a sustainable way. So it's not just something that you touch on in your curriculum. it's something that's part of everyday life. And that's very much about the mission of the CoEd Foundation. And I can say from my own point of view, it made me, reading the book, Education for Survival, but also working with the CoEd Foundation, it has made me assess myself. And I'm much better at recycling than I was. You know, I liked to have thought, you know, I thought I was good, but, you know, it's things like that now. I think, no, I can do better. And it has, you know, it has changed my life. So this slide also shows you the mission and the values and vision of CoEd Foundation. So we're also working on this with the University of Birmingham, and particularly with the section about the Education Leadership Academy, which was formally launched in September 19. And Colin Diamond, who leads this work, previously was the Director of Education in Birmingham, and somebody who I know did a lot of work within Birmingham regarding compassion. And we held, under Colin Diamond's leadership, an amazing conference about compassion in education. So the Education and Leadership Academy from Birmingham, University of Birmingham, was very much set up because there was a recognition about the critical nature of leadership. There is no school improvement journey that's been recorded that didn't involve strong leadership. It's also a recognition of the turbulent times, 150 years since the Forster Education Act, and the need for education to have a moral compass. And also the recognition of the importance of social capital and the place in a centralised education system. And what the University of Birmingham do is they teach today's and tomorrow's leaders from around the world. So not just based in Birmingham, but they're also based in Dubai. And their programmes are co-designed, co-constructed and co-delivered between academics and education leaders. And they also combine the best research and the best contemporary leadership practice. And as you'll see as we go through this symposium, that that way of working is very much about the CoEd way of working too, which is why we want to work with you as educators on designing and working on this movement. So what is compassion in education, and how are we going to do this? So we're hoping that we'll be able to use the Compassionate Schools propositions, which hopefully you've already seen, but we will be going through those with you later. We want to co-produce with a small group of schools evidence-based case studies and resources that are going to enable other schools to build compassion into their vision, their ethos and culture, their curriculum, and their active participation. We're also hoping that we'll be able to build an educational definition of compassion. Now, all of us will have a definition of what compassion is, and we can look it up in the dictionary. But actually, what does compassion mean in an education setting? We're hoping to define that with you. We will also assign a member of the CoEd Foundation team to support your work. We're also hoping that we can help you to identify and develop your case studies in a way that it's integrating with what you're already doing. So that's already part of your review cycle, and it's enhancing what you're currently doing and your future priorities. So it's not an add-on, it should be something very integral to your work. So why now? Well, our planet is under threat, and we need to play our part in preserving it. And we can't leave it to chance. Positive change needs to happen. And this isn't going to be accidental, it needs to be planned for. And our education system, as we said in the previous slide, is in a permanent state of challenge and change, with a constant change of directions and huge turbulence. The demands on school leaders are huge, and we can't underestimate that. And when we're in a place of demand and pressure, Our schools are in, they could suffer from being pressure pots, and that's not a healthy place to be for anybody. The equality, inclusion, and diversity agenda is for some just an agenda, and that's not acceptable. We live in a world where equality, inclusion, and diversity are not respected and prioritised as they should be, and this absolutely needs to change. We're also living in a place where there really is a lack of optimism. Too many people involving and including young children in our schools are living with poor health, and they're living with a lack of optimism and a lack of happiness. That just can't be right. And also, why now? Well, COVID-19 has affected us in many ways, but it's also shown us just how connected our planet can be. A virus starting in one area, one town, one city in the world has spread through our world at a rapid pace. But whilst that's happening, it's also shown us how disconnected we are and how isolated we can be. And again, this is something that really needs to change. So why do we think having a movement of compassion in education is going to help us solve this and help us address this? So why schools? Well, schools are absolutely unique places to work in, and they're unique places where they bring together people from a wide range of backgrounds, experiences, people with a wide range of opinions. So that, on its own is almost the ingredients for making something special happen. But schools are also places where we can build a sense of belonging and value, and also enabling people to understand the capacity that we can shape our futures. Schools are unique places where we really have the opportunity and the privilege to transform futures. Now, when schools get it right, we make such a positive difference. We can support children and young people to be agents of change and social action leaders. They will realise by working in by being part of a compassionate school, that their voice can be a big voice, their actions can be big actions, and together we can make a change. Compassion in education will definitely improve school outcomes, including attainment, well-being, and attendance. Now, many schools already recognise that. Many schools are already on their journey, and I'm pretty certain that the fact that you're joining us now means you're on that journey already, and you will have already seen the difference it makes in your school to the way your staff feel, because we thrive when we're happy, and when we feel valued, and when we feel we belong, and when we feel compassion, we thrive and we're happy. And we can make a sustained difference. Schools can bring that about.